It's a story about Rabbi Chaim Gutnick of blessed memory. He lived in Australia. He was a big businessman. He also had a very nice voice, and so when it came a Chassid Chabad, a Chabad Chassid, and he got an invitation from a city which is called Adelaide. 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 He got an invitation from the congregation in a small Jewish congregation in a city called Adelaide. Adelaide in also in Australia to fly there to be the Chazan for Rosh Hashanah and for Yom Kippur to lead the congregation. It would mean that he would have to leave his family and go there. And not only that, it was not a big congregation. There maybe was 100 people there or something like that. I mean, I don't know, maybe 100 families. Who knows how big it was? But it wasn't a big congregation. So he said he wasn't going to go. So they must have written a letter to the Lubavitcher Rebbe that they asked him if he would come to lead the congregation for the prayers of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and that he refused because he got a letter from the Rebbe, or they called him up, and the Rebbe told him that he should go and he should pay special attention to the Egyptian community there. So, okay, the Rebbe told him to go. So he goes. The Rebbe told him to go. So he told his wife what he had. His wife was very happy. He was going to do what the Rebbe wants. And he went. So he went there on Rosh Hashanah. He got there beforehand. And he, they gave him a nice place to accommodations. And he was sure that the food was up to his standards, whatever of kashrut, whatever it was. And he checked around in the place. And he prayed there for Rosh Hashanah. Everybody enjoyed it. Rosh Hashanah is the New Year's Day, first day of Tishrei. So everyone enjoyed it. He had a very nice voice, very pleasant, etc. So he went there. It could be, let me just get this whole story straight. 1 minute. Yeah, okay, that's right. So in the intermediate years, there's 7 days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So he went to the synagogue so he went to the synagogue to practice or to learn. He would sit there and learn. So one day he was sitting there and learning in the synagogue. It was a nice place, a fairly large place. And suddenly he's sitting in a corner and he sees a girl, a blind girl, is led in with a non-Jewish woman. That's what it seems, she's non-Jewish. And she goes over to him and says, "Excuse me, can you tell me where is the holiest place in the synagogue?" A strange question. So he said, "Well, the holiest place is, in the front of the synagogue. See that big sort of cabinet, it's ornate and there's a big curtain in front of it. That's where the Torahs are kept. That's the most." Thank you. She takes the blind girl, and puts her in front of in front of the ark. It's called the ark, and her helper leaves, goes outside, and the girl falls on her knees and starts crying and weeping. "Please, God, help me, save me this." So he says he can't figure out what this is. After a couple of minutes, the lady comes in and she takes the girl out. So he goes over to the sexton. There's a sexton that's cleaning up, the janitors, or a Jewish fellow that sees and he says, "What was that? What was that? Did you see that?" He says, "Yeah, I saw this. That's just one of the Egyptian, Jews." He says, "What do you mean one of the Egyptian Jews?" He says, "I don't know. There's a big community of Egyptian Jews. There's maybe, like 20 families or something like that of Egyptian Jews. They're here, but they keep to themselves. And there's nothing, they don't really have much contact with us. And, they buy a place in the synagogue and they sit in the synagogue and they keep to themselves and we keep to ourselves." So he said, "But who was that girl? Who was that girl?" He said, "I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't have anything to do with it." So it comes to the prayers of Yom Kippur. So he sits in the prayers of Yom Kippur and there's a little break in the middle. And he says to them, 1 second, I think I have the story a little bit, the timeline, I'm sorry, is a little bit wrong. So let me just change one little detail. Now I'm realizing what the detail is. This story that she came in and cried, this was before Rosh Hashanah. He was practicing for Rosh Hashanah. She came in Rosh Hashanah, and that's when he asked the sextant, and he said they're Egyptian Jews. And then he asked where they are. He didn't know. So Rosh Hashanah, when Rosh Hashanah came, so he went over to them. He asked the sextant, where are they sitting? They're sitting. They were a little bit darker than everybody else. So he went over to them in the middle of this little break in Rosh Hashanah, and he asked them, if you got a blind girl that's with you, can you tell me where she is? And they were all quiet. They didn't want anything to do with it. Okay, so now comes before Yom Kippur, the days between Yom Kippur. So he says, I'm going to find out where this girl is. I want you to tell me where she lives. Okay. So the girl was crying before Rosh Hashanah. On Rosh Hashanah, he met the congregation and they tried to avoid his questions. And after Rosh Hashanah, there's 7 days between Yom Kippur, he decided he's going to find this girl. He wants to find out what's going on. So he finds out where they live, and he goes to their house. This is a couple days, whatever, a few days before Yom Kippur. And he finds out where they live. He takes a taxi over to their house, to the Egyptian Jews. And finally, he finds out which house this girl lives in. Knocks on the door. They open up, yes, I would like to come in. They don't know what to do, so they let him in. What's happening? Why did this girl cry? Oh, it's nothing. It's nothing, Rabbi. She just, she's not 100% normal, and she was just crying. I said, no. I want to know what's happening. What was she crying about? God help me, etc. She seemed to be normal to me. So the parents explained, listen, we're a community. We came to Australia. We were Egyptian Jews. We're from Egypt. And we left Egypt. We came here. Right? This story must have been like in the 50s, maybe late 50s. So we came here and we're settled down and we're just keeping to ourselves. And we don't run any trouble with it. It says, okay, but what's this with the story with the girl? It says, well, the girl, she's blind. You see, she's blind, right? And we wanted to get an education. We wanted to have an education. Now we're Jews. We're not religious Jews. We're Jews, we keep whatever we can. Here you see we're in synagogue. So we tried to get her into regular schools, and the regular schools wouldn't accept her. The only school that would accept her was a Catholic school. And the teachers were really good, and the teachers really treated her very well. And she was really learning over there. Maybe it was a school for the blind, whatever. But they started pressuring her recently, and they want her to change her religion. They want her to convert to be a Catholic. And she doesn't want to do it. And we can't understand why she doesn't want to do it. What's the big deal? Listen, we're not religious Jews. We're just, how do you call it? The not ritual Jews. What are they called? Anyway, we're Jews that we just keep the customs. Custom Jews. Jews makes no difference. So you keep this custom, you keep that custom. What's the difference, So we're trying to tell her, listen, just tell them that you'll do whatever they say, and you'll pray to whatever they want to pray, and you'll just go through the actions, and you'll still be a Jew. She says, no, she's not going to do it. But they're saying, at least the last week, that if she doesn't convert, then she can't come and learn anymore. She can't come to the school anymore. And now we don't know what to do. Are we going to keep her at home? And we don't know enough to teach her. And she has to have friends. She has to be in a place where she's just going to sit around at home, and just collect dust. We don't know what to do. So we're trying to pressure her that she should just at least externally change her, say that you're changing her religion. With such a, and that's what she's crying about. So this girl is sitting there, Rabbi, can you help me? Can you help me, please? So the rabbi says, we'll see what I can do. After he finishes the meeting, it's already late at night. He goes back home. It's only like 4 days before Yom Kippur. And he calls up the president of the synagogue, the one that invited him. Yes, Rabbi, is there something wrong? He says, yes, I got a problem. I want you to come over to my house. He says, Rabbi, it's 1:00 in the morning. I have to go to work on them. Can we talk tomorrow? We can't talk tomorrow. We have to talk right now. And so he says, okay, can we talk over the phone? He says, no, I want to talk to you face to face. I guess they lived a couple of houses away. So he comes over to his house. He says, okay, there's this blind girl, Egyptian girl. She's blind. You have to find her a school. So that's what you brought me over here for. I can't find her a school. He said, oh, you can't find her a school? Then find yourself another cantor. I'm leaving. I'm going, but you can't help her? I said, Rabbi, how are we going to find another cantor in 4 days? It's not my problem. Just like this girl is not your problem. So also, you are not my problem, right? Everybody wants to be, what do you say, selfish? So you be selfish, I'll be selfish. I'm going back home. He says, Rabbi, you can't do that to the congregation. We really liked the way you prayed. It was very nice. We haven't got anybody else. We haven't got anybody else. He said, well, I'm sorry, you'll find somebody else. Don't worry about it. Maybe you'll be a cantor. He says, Rabbi, listen, what do you want? He says, I want you to tomorrow morning, crack of dawn, to find this girl a place where she can learn even secular studies, but not a religious place. And if it's going to be religious, it should be Jewish. Okay, Rabbi, just don't leave. And sure enough, the next day, the rabbi made about 100 phone calls until he finally did find a place where it's a place for the blind and they can teach her. And they provided money, they provided it, and he went and he. So now he understood what it was that the Rebbe said, that he should take this job being a cantor, and he should especially worry about the Egyptian community there. That if he wasn't there, that who knows what would have happened to this girl. You can ask you a question, the same question that the president of the synagogue answered. So big deal. One blind girl, and she just bows down to, to who knows what. So it's so severe, such a big thing. And the answer is yes, it is. Yes, it is. Every single Jew is here to change the whole world for the good and not to be changed by the world for the opposite. And that should be a lesson to us, how important to every human being, especially how every Jew is, and to benefit the world as much as possible.